Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're diving into something that I think a lot of us think about,
Yeah.
career development. We're going to be looking at your notes on career development and also this really interesting piece that you sent over about mental well-being in like the modern world, right?
Right.
How do we make all of this work together?
Yeah. This is great. And I think it's so smart how you're thinking about this because, it's not just about finding a job or the next step. You're thinking about the bigger picture, right?
Yeah,
Like, how does this all fit into my life and
right.
and actually enjoying my life, not just, you know, grinding all the time. So, okay,
So
that's
let's unpack this a little.
yeah.
In your notes, you mentioned like exploring different career paths. You've even highlighted some like hot new industries, right?
Yeah.
So what's catching your eye? Are you feeling a little lost or just curious? What's going on?
It's always good to be curious, I think.
Yeah.
And what's interesting here is the job market is like it's constantly like evolving. It's like a moving target, right?
Right.
So like you mentioned renewable energy, it's booming, right?
Yeah.
Alongside data science.
Yeah.
Huge growth in that area as well.
I was going to say, that actually ties in perfectly to something else that you mentioned because you were talking about really wanting a career that makes a real impact, right?
So,
And it seems like these new industries really kind of check that box for you, right?
yeah, absolutely. And that's where that other source comes in, I think, that you mentioned about work-life balance. Because it's not just about finding any job, it's finding a job or a role that fits into a sustainable lifestyle for you.
Right, exactly.
And your source talked about stress and anxiety being so prevalent these days, even in those like quote unquote dream jobs that, he talks about on social media. And
Oh, dream jobs. That's so funny you say that because, like,
right.
it's such a loaded term these
It is
days.
a loaded term. Yeah.
What does that even mean to you? Like, everybody listening, what does your what does your ideal work-life integration actually look like? Like, I want everybody to just take a second and actually picture it. Like, close your eyes. What does that look like? Because it's different for everyone, right?
It is different for everyone. And I think that's why like simply chasing these hot jobs can backfire
Right.
because it's not really about the job itself. It's about how it fits into your life.
Totally.
And your notes did mention, struggling with this feeling of being stuck.
Right.
And it's so easy to get caught up in what other people find fulfilling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's where, having, it's like you have to tune into your own internal compass a little bit.
Totally.
Right. And that's honestly what it sounds like you're doing by even like thinking about this and
Yeah.
being proactive.
Right. Exactly.
Because passion, I always say passion fuels resilience, right?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
you're going to need resilience to navigate the ups and downs of any career path, right?
That's so true. That's so true.
No career path is like, sunshine and roses all the time. But
Right. Exactly.
when you're passionate about it, you're able to weather those storms a little bit easier.
That's such a good point. And I also think it's like, you're already on the right track because you're thinking about this now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're not like already in it and feeling stuck and,
Exactly.
like miserable at your job. Like you're thinking about it ahead of time. And I also think something that you should remember is that, like, you mentioned that you have experience in project management, right?
Yeah.
That is a transferable skill across so many fields.
Yeah, absolutely.
So whether you want to go into those renewable energy projects or if you want to work at a tech startup, like
Mhm.
there are so many places where you can take that skill.
Yeah, it's super valuable. Absolutely.
Okay, so dear listener, where does this leave you?
Yeah. Well, first off, I just want to say, don't panic. Okay.
Yeah,
It's actually really exciting to be at this kind of crossroads.
Yeah.
And, you know, do your research.
yeah,
Research these emerging industries that we talked about, but also, take some time to reflect inward.
yeah.
What truly motivates you? Like, what kind of impact do you want to make on the world? What kind of a daily work life will bring you joy, not just a paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Really.
Because that deeper self-awareness is going to guide you, I think, towards a really fulfilling and aligned path.
And it's okay if it takes a little while to figure that out too.
Of course. It's a process,
Well,
right?
yeah, it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
And don't forget to factor in your well-being along the way.
Oh, absolutely.
That's so important. We didn't even get into specific like stress reduction techniques and all of that, but like maybe that's a whole other deep dive we could do actually.
That's an episode for another day.
Right, because that's a whole thing.
Absolutely.
But we've explored some really like exciting avenues today. I mean, we connected emerging job trends with like the importance of mental well-being.
Right.
And we looked at all of it through the lens of your personal notes and like your goals, right? So
Absolutely.
that was pretty cool.
I think so too.
I
What's interesting here is we've only really scratched the surface, right? This is a big topic
Dude, yeah.
with lots of different avenues to go down. But this kind of leaves us with a question.
Ooh, I like it.
I like to leave people with a question, right? So in a world that's obsessed with doing,
Right.
how can you, dear listener, prioritize being?
Ooh.
Not just in your career, but just in your life as a whole, right?
Good question.
Something to think about. Food for thought until our next deep dive.
I like it.
This has been a Project NJ Studios production.